What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York. We are back at the St. Vitus Basement, and today we are here with one of Long Island's finest, Moontooth. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yep. It was great to be able to talk to Nick about like the making of Crux and everything, but now you're well into the record cycle. Guys want to give a rundown? You guys have been very busy this last couple on a tour with Mark Morton, Light the Torch, Animals as Leaders. Let's just give a quick rundown on how everything's been. Who wants to go first?
So it's been a shitstorm of glory and luxury, of course. No, I'm just kidding. Of course it hasn't. But yeah, we've had some really good runs. We did a great run with Mark Morton and his band, and Light the Torch. We did a run with Animals as Leaders and the Contortionists, and it was awesome. Those guys are just amazing. It was really great to watch them and hang with them. And now we're back out with Light the Torch, which is fun because it wasn't so long ago that we did that last one. So it was nice to see the guys and.
It's kind of like a deja vu sort of thing. Right?
Yeah. It's kind of like, was there a time in between? Did we just continuing? But yeah, so it'll be cool. And of course, it's always great to be back at Vitus. It's like kind of a home base for us.
Of course. You know, it's funny because I saw you guys at St. Vitus. I saw you guys, at Gramercy Theater. And while I wasn't at this particular show, I saw you guys at Irving Plaza. Depending on, like, the types of venues you're playing now and the size of everything, it has to be, like, a different vibe or different experience or approach and sound.
Oh,
right?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, Irving was one of those experiences I looked forward to since I was, 9 years old. And then when you finally get there, you're like, all right, today's the day. This is going to be amazing. And then you wait around for 5 hours, and then there's, issues with time frame, and you're like, no, it's still fine. It's still good. It's still going to be fun. And then it's like, oh, no, whose girlfriend can't get in? Who's not on VIP? And it's like this whole stressful situation. And then you finally get up there, and it's like, all right, now we're calm, But
it happens a lot with the bigger cities like LA. Every time we get there, it's usually some kind of just like, you get kind of like big dogged a little bit or told to wait around. But, especially like at Irving when it was happening, it was just kind of like, we're all like, yeah, fine, whatever, make us wait, doesn't matter. We're going to fucking eat this place alive. So it just kind of fueled everything, the excitement, like the determination to like do a good job. And like Ray was saying, like, we've been going to that venue since we were kids. So, yeah, it was fucking awesome.
Awesome to finally be able to play it.
Yeah.
Now, in addition, you've played with like a variety of different types of bands, like, Animals as Leaders and the Contortionists. You got like an instrumental band, a more like proggy, progressive tech death band.
Yeah.
You're on tour with Light the Torch with, regardless of what you call it, sort of like more of a metalcore sort of audience. But you've played with a lot of different types of bands, Candiria. And so do you notice like maybe a different type of audience or maybe a different reaction to your music depending on the tours you're on?
Yeah, definitely. And if we're playing with a more shreddy band, we see a lot of like guitar students in the crowd, and they might be kind of sizing Nick up or Vin up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I'd say.
Yeah, when we went out with Fit for an Autopsy, that was a different crowd than us because they're way heavier than us, but it was mostly good experience, and there were some shows where people they're not really into singing vocals at all. Like they're like totally on the hard end of the spectrum. So some people we just got shrug shoulders and kind of like, what the fuck am I listening to? I don't know. Where's the heavy part? And then other shows super well received. The Animals tour was it was like John was saying. Like Tosin goes, how many musicians and guitar players we got here? And the whole crowd lit up. And so, like, a lot of people they're watching intensely rather than, like, grabbing a beer and rocking out and kind of sloshing around. They're all standing there and just grilling the fretboard and, like, grilling my drumsticks. And it's a lot more intimidating because it's like you're playing in front of, some of the world's best musicians. And, we're up there trying to hack it with them, and do our rock and roll shit and have it be in a different experience than just, like, shredding and kind of like make a more visceral experience and kind of get in people's faces whenever we can.
Yeah, but we pride ourselves on being able to assimilate to any kind of show because we, from when we started, we were mostly getting put on shows of bands much heavier than us, and as the years went on, we've done some tours of bands much lighter than us, like doing a tour of Fit for an Autopsy versus doing a tour where we were like the softies kind of, and we'd have to like go for blood every night, especially me being like the clean singer, you know what I mean? I'd have to go and just like rip my own skin off in these people's faces just to like scare them. And then we do a tour with Thank You Scientists, and then we're the heavy guys, and it's like, we have to like maybe shake my ass a little bit more and say like, hey, no, it's kind of fun, you know. So
And we could adjust the we could adjust the set kind of depending on the tour that we're doing, whether it be more technical shit or stuff that's people can jam out to a little bit more, so it's not so like just riff city and very hard to pay attention to if you're not familiar with the music.
And now with your latest record, Crux, it's an amazing record, and people have really been connecting with it. Like, congrats on all the success with
Thank
it.
you.
And, like, you were featured in Rolling Stone, Metal Injection, Alternative Press. It's awesome. Seeing how people are connecting with your music now so much, and, does it give you a different perspective on your own art when you see how your music is connecting with other people?
I don't know if it would give it a different perspective. I'd say it's a little surreal because you sit with this music for so long and it's so personal and so like there's so much catharsis in it that once it gets out there and people start reacting to it, like getting like in Pitchfork and Rolling Stone and seeing those Alternative Press, like seeing those things, just kind of like, wait, somebody heard this? So they know about it, like, so it's
feels like it's not ours anymore, or at least for me personally. It's like for so long it was just the four of us, it's our music, and then now it just feels like Moontooth is a bigger entity than just the four of us, and it's, I don't know, it's bigger than us. It's hard to describe.
Very interesting. Now, being that you're the drummer and you're the vocalist, do you need to hear music to come up with lyrics, and do you need to hear music to come up with the beat, or do you guys have this stuff kind of laid down first, and maybe that helps Nick kind of like write the riffs and according to that and everything?
It all depends. I mean, we have there's many different writing styles, I guess, or different approaches that we've done. Sometimes we get in the room and we just try to somebody's got a riff, Nick's writing something, we'll try to just mash something up together in the room. Sometimes I'll write a bunch of guitar riffs and we'll bring that in, or I'll give it to Nick, or Nick will bring riffs in, send demos to John lay vocals over it. But at this point, it's kind of like once John starts messing around with it, then we'll go back, mess with the structure, and make sure that the arrangement makes sense for vocals, so there's not, it's not too hard to sing over, or it's not giving enough of a, canvas for John to fill up.
Yeah, like if I have a riff, I'll start kind of working with melodies, and a lot of times the words will kind of come at the same time as the melodies. Well, we have a very healthy relationship with each other, where we just found the right guys. So usually when one person comes up with something, the other guys get clicking right away, and it's not too hard for the magic to happen. But yeah, I'll start coming up with vocal melodies and lyrics, and then if there's a part where okay, this melody is really good here, and that can kind of dictate, all right, well, maybe let's do this section twice, and yada yada yada. So yeah, it's usually a pretty built up from four corners kind of together as it goes most of the time.
Very interesting. And can your lyrics be open to interpretation, or are you trying to maybe get a listener to sort of see things from your point of view?
Well, it's kind of, I guess, both. You know what I mean? Lyrics are incredibly important to me. I write a lot, privately and, obviously publicly. But I'm very much a believer, whenever I get asked about my lyrics, I don't mind explaining, what they were about or going into specifics talking about it. But I always, my first reaction, if my friends ever ask me, I always just say, do you want me to tell you, or do you want to just, make your own thing out of it? Not my friends, they don't give a shit. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, he's not.
Yeah, I like, my hope is that people will, make their own thing out of it for a positive reason. Because it's the songs that, I think everybody knows what it's like to have those songs that meant so much to you when you were growing up, and, you would hear a certain lyric or something like that, and just all right, I don't know if this is what this guy's talking about, but this totally means this to me from my life, and I wouldn't want to know what he meant. So yeah, it's either way. I don't mind talking about it, but I hope that people can use it in a positive way.
Absolutely. I mean, your shows are always so positive, so whether they understand the lyrics or not, you're making people smile.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah. And the final question I want to ask you guys is, and I talked with Nick about this extensively on the 2 times I've interviewed him, you're a Long Island band. I consider Long Island to be just the 6th borough. And I mean, with you guys, Extinction AD, I mean, Glassjaw's originally from there. And I mean, I think there was another band out there. I don't know if they're still doing anything, but a really cool band called Blame Shifts.
I remember that band.
Yeah. I think they're from Long Island. Really awesome band. But like, is there like a scene in Long Island that you guys were involved in, or were you more or less just trying to get outside your hometown to more or less get Moontooth's name out there?
Definitely a scene. There's several different scenes going on for sure, and they kind of like, it's not quite a Venn diagram, but like loosely touching circles a little bit. You know, there's a hardcore scene, there's like a death metal scene, there's a lot of like indie rock, and of course, like being Long Island, there's a lot of like emo and pop punk kind of stuff. But
People would say all the time, "I wish Warped Tour could be all year long," and I just tell them, "Go to Long Island."
yeah,
Yeah, basically.
but
Yeah, we're a little little it's like I guess kind of detached from a lot of the other scenes that obviously we're not a part of, but yeah, there's so many people and there's so many tight knit, you know, groups of people
And-
that it's I don't know, it's really widespread.
And I will say, like, you know, there are things about the island that we don't like, not necessarily about the music scene, but something that's really cool about the music scene is that, like, when you play Brooklyn or Manhattan, you know, the crowds are awesome, but like the Long Island crowds, they fucking throw down. Like people, they go out to shows, they bring the energy and stuff like that. And not that Brooklyn and Manhattan crowds don't, but like,
Shots fired.
yeah, I guess I realized I walked myself into this.
Turf war.
Let me go ahead and dig myself out of this grave. No, but the reason I bring this up is not to slam Brooklyn or NYC, but like just because Long Island gets overlooked a little bit, like I think in terms of music scenes or whatnot, everybody just goes to Brooklyn. Understandably, it's like a hub. It's like one of the best cities in the world. But yeah, the kids are out there on Long Island. You know what I mean? And they're hungry for good shit.
I think it also has to do because, you know, Long Island is predominantly suburbs, and
Yeah.
there might not be a lot to do. So, like,
And that's another reason. There's a lot of fucking closed-minded attitudes there, so that when you have that kind of stuff going on, of course, it's going to breed like a kind of punk rock reaction to that
Yeah.
from the younger kids. And, you know,
and it seems like Amityville Music Hall and Revolution are just awesome, like, venues that are really supportive
Yeah,
over the scene.
definitely.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's like our home, like that place. And the people that run Amityville are a group of entrepreneurs that like have several other venues, like a couple like bar restaurant places. But it's awesome to see like band dudes making businesses and providing a place where people who want like a taste of like, you know, I guess alternate culture a little bit, like, or just some culture, you know, can get some cool shit. So yeah, we have you know, we may not stay on Long Island forever, but like, you know, it's home. You're always gonna love your home for some reason, you know.
Yeah, huge shout out to all the bands on Long Island. Freaking Glassjaw and freaking, who else? Extinction AD.
Joel, baby, Billy Joel. People hate on Billy Joel all the time. Fucking fight me, okay? I was raised on this shit.
Oh, didn't he write the Black Album? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. I think he inspired it. with the
Inspired
Black
Reload.
Album. Yeah.
Billy Joel is awesome.
You're talking about the Jay-Z Black Album, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So before we go, oh man, I can't wait to see the mic levels when editing this, just to see how high they go up. Before we go, I'd like to thank you guys so much. Is there just anything else with Moontooth you'd like to promote in terms of tours or new music?
We're on this run with Light the Torch and Saul now. We'll be doing that. We have some of our own headlining dates mixed in between, so we'll be doing that for the next couple weeks. You can just check our Facebook, Instagram, social medias. You can see all the dates and get tickets and whatnot. Crux is out on all the streaming services, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, all that good stuff. On the YouTube, we just put out a music video for a song we have called Omega Days. Check that out. The homeboy Anthony Lapardo made the video. It's Ray's partner from Westfall Recording Company.
We're trying to release a single on Pornhub in a few weeks. We'll see how that goes. Unrelated to anything sexual.
And when he says single, he means like single scene, like we're doing separate.
It's just a new and upcoming
Good night, everybody.
platform that everybody should look into.
Hey, I mean, stranger things have been attempted, so there you go.
It's actually a Stranger Things themed.
Oh wow,
Solo
I set myself up like a
video,
bowling
yeah.
pin for that one.
Stranger
Well,
dongs.
Thank you guys so much. Everybody, we are here with Moontooth. Crux, pick it up if you haven't already. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we'll see you next time.
Sorry, Mom.
Bye.